my country, 'tis the sweet land of liberty. Guys, is Biden what's he trying to do? Is he trying to destroy the American dream? I mean, for real, this fiscal policy. Today, I'm going to share with you the 3 things that put your financial future at risk. Okay, listen, it's not all so dramatic, doom and gloom. For some people, kind of. My team can be a little dramatic. I can be a little bit dramatic. But for real, let's actually talk about our way of life in the American dream and what might actually be at risk. You see, President Biden says this, quote, "The wealthy should pay their fair share." And I just want to start off by saying, I agree. I love paying my taxes. I know that might sound a little bit crazy, but I do think that you should pay the goose that lays the golden egg. Look at all the freedoms that we enjoy. I make more money. I love sharing a lot of that money. But you know what I enjoy even more? Rather than giving that money to the government and hoping that they make good, wise, efficient choices, which frankly I don't believe they do very, very well, what I love is I love giving money through my charitable contributions, my foundation. I love helping people. In fact, one of my goals is to be a billionaire and then give $1 billion away because I want to help the people with my agenda that I believe I can help. AKA, one of the reasons why I got this YouTube channel is literally just for the fun of, let's educate the whole world on how to be financially smarter. Well, there's certainly a lot of opinions on what a fair share is and how much the wealthy should be paying. I'm a huge proponent of helping people who are poor or middle class, which is another way of saying poor, literally become wealthy. Because guess what? I didn't come from money, and I love it when people actually learn enough of the financial rules of the game to become wealthy. But you know what? There's some rules that the wealthy and I, or the up and coming wealthy, have been leveraging to become wealthier. And these are the 3 things that are threatened right now to actually maybe go away or be diminished. That's going to change the rules of the game. Let's talk about number 1. Rumor has it from Bloomberg, and guess what? Biden has not provided a lot of clarity on this yet, that he is intending to double capital gains. Now, what is a capital gain? It means that anytime you invest into something and you hold it for longer than a year and then later sell it, then that growth that you've received, that's a capital gains. And Biden is actually talking potentially about taking that capital gains and doubling it, literally from what was previously 0, 15, or 20%. We're seeing that now at 39.6%. That's the speculation out on the street. And for those that are making over $1 million a year, guess what? That number is actually 43%. So the news gets a whole lot worse.
That is bad news.
Now, for just a moment, I want you to think about what this means. Like, if you're a subscriber on this channel, you might be watching because I'm teaching you the rules of money and you want to learn in time how to become wealthy and then pass that generational wealth on. You want to live a better life. And, you know, what is money in the first place? Money for me is one thing, more options. And I like having more options in life because it leads to, I think, a more fulfilling life, the opportunity to do things with money that create a lot more meaning. And the reason why that's being threatened by this whole notion of capital gains is because what's the point of making all this money if I have to give such a huge chunk of it, potentially 40% to the government, as if the government was my business partner on all of my investment advice? Think about that for just a second. I want to buy this investment property. I want to buy these stocks. I want to buy this business. I want to build a business. Did you know that the government might be your 40% taxing silent partner that says, hey, I believe in you. If you fail, you don't really get anything, but if you win big, do I hear a maniacal laugh is what I was thinking of. A maniacal laugh coming on. Number 2. If you build all this wealth, will you actually be able to pass it on to the next generation without the government slamming you with taxes? Check this out. Number 2, lowering the amount of untaxable money in an estate, right? Like as you build wealth, you're gonna graduate from having a will and testament to actually putting your money in a trust. And one of the great things about a trust is it's a tax shelter. It means that there's an amount of money that you can give to your children or grandchildren or causes without the government putting their greedy fingers in the pot and saying, you're dead, let's take. Check this out. Biden wants to reduce the federal estate gift from generation skipping tax exemption from 11.7 million all the way down to 3.5 million. Now, I just want you to think about that for a second, that before, there's over $11 million that can be passed on tax-free. And yet, guess what happens? Now those big, huge estate taxes start coming in at just after $3.5 million. Let me share with you why this is so disappointing. You know, $3.5 million before the government starts coming in with its heavy tax hand, that may sound like a lot of money, but let me put it in perspective for you. In the last 2 years, I've lost a couple of close buddies, and one in particular, when he died, he left his spouse a few $1,000,000, very much like that 3.5 million. And I got to see the aftermath. You know what happens when you take $3.5 million and you go to the financial planner and say, hey, I don't want to eat away at the principal, but I want to get as much safe interest as I can off of this. They're going to annuitize it, and an annuity, that's going to turn out to maybe $100,000, $120,000, $130,000 a year of income. Now you've got $3.5 million that you don't want to erode, but all the bank is going to give you, that financial planner is going to spin off as $130,000. That is not a lot of money. And then you got the government coming in, and what are they doing? They want to do a heavy tax on the rest of that estate. I'm not okay with that. Perhaps one of the most disturbing changes that are currently being proposed is this whole rumor regarding the 1031 exchange. Check out Biden's plan. He wants to take the 1031 exchange and impose a $500,000 limit. Now, what does that mean? First of all, what is an exchange? A 1031 exchange means I bought a house, it could be commercial, it could be residential, and at the time of selling it, I'm gonna get hit with a huge capital gains like we've been talking about. And the government historically has given us something, an IRS code called the 1031 exchange, and it says, hey, if you want to transfer all of your gains and not pay taxes on it and put it into another property or similar property or several other properties, we won't tax you. And that way you can keep your money in real estate. Well, if that 1031 exchange gets limited to 500,000, then that means that baby investors that are just beginning to build wealth will have some shelter and protection. But when your wealth builds and gets bigger and you want to do bigger deals and commercial deals, guess what? This can catch up to you. And when it does, it's going to smack you in the face. And I promise it's not going to feel any better than a wet fish to the face.
Oh my God!
But you know what? There is a little bit of saving grace on this. You know that I've done thousands of single family homes, right? When you buy those entry-level homes and you keep exchanging them, with this limit being $500,000 per year, you're gonna find a lot of safety if you can actually stay in smaller investments, even if it's more of them. Guess what? I think that's what the wealthy are going to be doing. They're gonna say, great, I'm going to stop putting my money in big commercial projects, and I've gotta find a way to get it into a lot of smaller projects. So honestly, it does beg this question. Is President Biden incentivizing people to build long-term wealth? Well, I'm sure with this platform, there's a lot of people that are saying, well, maybe we're spreading more of the wealth, or we're spreading the opportunities, or we're trying to make it easier for people to go from maybe poverty to middle class. But you know, this is the one thing that has me concerned right here. We're talking about building wealth and learning how to pass it on to the next generation. And I do think that there should be more of a compromise where we can help everyone get a hand up and help people have more opportunity, but don't keep people from rising and becoming wealthy. Don't disincentivize that. I think we need to make it fair for everyone on both sides of the playing field. Everyone needs an opportunity to rise, and don't implement practices that hamper that. Kris, is it too late? Have I lost my shot? Are there no more chances to get rich? Check this out. How do you get rich in the first place if these rules get enacted? Well, I got news. There's nothing the government can really do that can truly stop someone who's determined to manifest their financial destiny. Let me show you what the updated game plan looks like. Number one, buy real estate. This is literally how 90% of people become wealthy, or this is certainly where the wealthy store their assets. So you've got to do that. You got to learn how to do that. You got to break free from this mindset of 401k and IRA and 401k. It doesn't work. Like, look at the math. You don't accumulate even 15% of what you need in that model. You've got to just say, wait, I got to copy the rich. And what are the rich doing? And by the way, it's not the government's job to teach you how to become rich. That's why you're a subscriber on this channel, hopefully some other channels like this. Number one, do what the wealthy do, buy real estate. Number two, leverage 1031 exchange for single family homes, because guess what? Even though they're going to impose some limits, that's going to hamper commercial and really big dollars and also really big deals, but not necessarily a whole bunch of the small ones, which can make you the same amount of money. And then of course, don't forget that you have something called a cash out refinance. You don't have to sell the home. you can keep the home. You can cash it out and you don't have to pay taxes on that money. So it's either 1031 exchange, smaller deals, or hold on to the property and just pull some money out with the bank. Don't have to pay taxes on that until you actually sell it. Who says you ever have to sell it? And then the third step, buy more assets. It's a little bit of a rinse and repeat, right? Buy assets, be smart so that you don't sell them and actually have to incur these taxes, and then use the money that you get to go buy more assets. This is how the rich get rich, and this is something you can still do today. Wait a second, Kris, you said buy assets? There's a lot more to it. And you know what there is? There's also a roadmap on how you do it intelligently. This book that I wrote called The Straight Path to Real Estate Wealth literally is the step-by-step guide of how I became financially free in my mid-20s. And frankly, if you're thinking to yourself, wait a second, in this economy, I don't want to trust the government. I don't want to trust my employer. I want to learn how to develop a financial trust with myself to become financially free. This book is the ultimate guide in the game of real estate on how just on the side, it's nearly passive, nearly fully turnkey. You can have real estate building wealth for you instead of you going to a day job. Cool thing is, today I'm giving the book away for free. There's a smile on my face. I hope it puts one on yours. Click the link below, get your copy of this book. It's your free guide to building wealth today. Click the link. Man, if you knew what I knew, you would do everything in your power to get in the game of real estate. This is literally the year of the decade of the century, and the window is closing. You don't want to miss out. So yes, get the copy of the book, but you know what? I made you a video. It's the ultimate guide to getting in the game of real estate right now. And where's that video? It's right over here.
So good. That's so good.
All right. I said ladies. Yeah? Just kidding. Nothing. Don't worry about it. Having a moment.